eyes instinctively followed Lydia's trembling hand. Under the faint moonlight, a figure stood motionless at the edge of the forest. The silhouette was gaunt, its face obscured and featureless, as if it had emerged from a half-forgotten dream. Tristan's heart pounded, each beat echoing heavily in his chest. He couldn't tell if it was a real person or one of the spirits from the terrifying tale he had just told. "We need to get out of here. Now," Harvey stammered, tugging at Teresa's arm in panic. But before they could move, the sound of soft, deliberate footsteps emerged from the darkness. The footsteps didn't belong to anyone in their group. They were slow and steady, each step amplifying the dread, as if something or someone was approaching them from the depths of the night. The darkness around them thickened, compressing the air, making it harder to breathe with every passing second. Tristan swallowed hard, cold sweat trailing down his back. He knew it was too late. The curse of the mountain had ensnared them, leaving no way out. The spirits were no longer just a part of his story. They were here, real, present, and they wouldn't let anyone leave. Part 7. The horror begins. Haunting nightmares. The night sky was consumed by heavy black clouds, swallowing every remaining trace of light. The camp seemed frozen in time, the stillness so absolute that they could hear their own breaths. But amidst the unnerving silence, strange footsteps echoed once more. They were irregular, sometimes near, sometimes distant, as though coming from another realm beyond the shadows. The group huddled closer around the dying embers of the campfire. The faint glow flickered weakly, its warmth fading fast as the chill of unease seeped into their bones. Teresa shivered, her head bowed low, but her eyes darted nervously toward the forest's edge. The shadows there weren't just darkness. They writhed and shifted, slithering between the trees like formless specters. Whenever someone tried to focus, the shapes seemed to vanish, leaving behind an emptiness even more unsettling. The oppressive atmosphere weighed down on them, each breath growing heavier, as if the very air had been poisoned. As the night dragged on, one by one, they succumbed to horrifying visions. Each nightmare was a piece of the grim puzzle, tied to the ghost stories they had once told with morbid curiosity. Teresa dreamed of her stepmother standing at the foot of her bed. The woman's face was a horrifying blank canvas, a black void where features should have been, as if reality had erased her entirely. Slowly, the faceless figure leaned closer, icy hands brushing through Teresa's hair with a chilling tenderness. With every stroke, her hair fell out in clumps, landing on the bed in twisted, lifeless strands. She watched in mute terror as her scalp was left bare, exposing raw, vulnerable skin. She tried to scream, but the sound was trapped in her throat, suffocated by sheer panic. Her stepmother leaned in closer, whispering in a voice colder than winter's breath, "You'll never escape me." Martin found himself lost beneath the canopy of an ancient tree, the same sinister tree he had described in his tale about the doomed traveler. Its gnarled branches extended like monstrous arms, wrapping around his legs and torso. The harder Martin struggled, the tighter the branches coiled, dragging him down into the earth. The soil was cold and damp, creeping over his skin like a living entity. The roots whispered maliciously, their voices a chorus of threats and lamentations. As he sank deeper into the ground, he realized with a chilling certainty he would die here. No one would find him. Harvey dreamed he was holding his phone, its screen glowing faintly. But instead of his reflection, the image staring back at him was a twisted, demonic version of himself. The figure had eyes burning red with hatred, and a smile that stretched unnaturally wide, warped beyond recognition. Panicking, Harvey tried to turn off the phone, but the distorted image only leaned closer, grinning with malevolent delight. Its voice rasped through the speaker, each word cutting deep into Harvey's sanity. "Now, I'll take your place." Lydia felt herself walking through a misty forest where darkness and light intertwined, forming grotesque and distorted shapes. The bare branches swayed gently, like skeletal hands reaching out to touch her. The thick fog clung to her skin, making every step heavy, as if she had wandered into a realm suspended between reality and nightmare. Ahead, a soft yet chilling laughter echoed, resembling the sound of wind chimes on a winter's night. Through the mist, she saw a familiar figure, herself. But this was another version with hollow eyes and a twisted, unsettling smile. Lydia staggered back in terror as the figure stepped forward, each step slow and deliberate. In an instant, Lydia realized her own face was melting away, the flesh sliding off to reveal a shriveled visage with sunken black eyes and a grin stretched unnaturally wide. "You're not the real Lydia," the doppelganger said, speaking in Lydia's own voice but raspier, as if it echoed from the depths of the earth. "I am the real one, and now I will take your place." Lydia wanted to scream, but her throat was constricted. As she turned to run, shadowy forms within the mist surged forward, wrapping around her body like the inescapable tendrils of a nightmare. Tristan found himself standing on a winding road surrounded by endless fields shrouded in mist. Above him, the sky was pitch black, devoid of stars. Each step he took echoed heavily on the damp, gravelly path. He felt the presence of someone following him, but whenever he turned, there was only silence and impenetrable darkness. He pressed on, but the road seemed endless. In the distance, he saw the silhouette of his father who had passed away years ago, standing motionless, staring directly at him. "Dad," Tristan called out softly, but there was no response. As he moved closer, his father's face began to distort, the skin tightening like wax, the eyes rolling back, and the mouth slowly opening to release a rasping, labored breath. From deep within his father's throat, a bloodied hand emerged, its gnarled fingers clawing outward, pulling forth a shriveled figure from his chest. Tristan stumbled back in horror as the figure grew, transforming into a warped version of himself. It wore the same clothes as Tristan, but its eyes glowed red with malice, and its sinister grin twisted unnaturally. "Who are you?" Tristan shouted. The doppelganger chuckled softly. "You know exactly who I am." It stepped closer, face to face with Tristan, leaning in to whisper, "You called me here, and now I'll live in your place." Tristan tried to run, but his feet felt glued to the ground. In the final moment before the shadowy figure consumed his mind, Tristan realized he had opened the door for the devil to enter, and there was no escape. The group jolted awake simultaneously, as if escaping the clutches of a shared nightmare. Cold sweat drenched their foreheads and clothes, their breathing ragged, like someone gasping for air after being submerged underwater. The campfire flickered weakly, the flames reduced to a feeble glow, incapable of driving away the oppressive darkness surrounding them. The silence was unnerving, as though every sound had been smothered. A creeping chill filled the air, raising goosebumps on their skin. Each person looked at the others. Confusion and dread it mirrored in their eyes. It was as if they all understood something unspeakable, yet dared not voice it. The dreams they had experienced, vivid, horrifying, and disturbingly real, were no mere nightmares. Each of them felt it in their bones, The horrors were seeping into reality. The chilling stories they had once told were no longer just tales. The space around the camp seemed to warp, thickening into a suffocating veil of darkness. The trees blurred, dissolving into an endless void. And then, the sound came again. Footsteps. This time they weren't distant or hidden among the trees. They were close. So close it felt as though someone or something was standing right behind them. The silence that followed each footstep was worse than the sound itself. A taunting pause that sent shivers down their spines. It felt like an unseen force was daring them to look back, but none of them had the courage to turn around.